If you've had the pleasure of watching the internet's favorite gothic bad boy, King Cobra JFS, then you're probably pretty familiar with his unique brand of personal hygiene. It doesn't take much observation to figure out that there is a distinct disconnect between Josh and cleanliness. Whether you're watching him hack up some congealed goo from his lungs onto the carpet or spray paint sticks inside of his apartment, you're going to see some really questionable decisions regarding self-care. There really isn't a polite way to say that Josh has some absolutely horrid personal hygiene practices. Honestly, I'm shocked he's even comfortable living like that, but to each his own, I guess. Either way, there's a fair amount of info to break down here, so let's get started. A shining example of Cobb's lack of personal care is the contents of his maw. Behind those luscious carp lips are a set of chompers that have been ravaged by carbonated stews like soda and energy drinks. And of course, how could I possibly forget the copious amounts of alcohol that he regularly spills into his gullet? Soda obviously wears down the enamel on teeth. Most soft drinks are just bursting with sugar, and when that sugar comes in contact with bacteria that is nestled in someone's smile, it creates an acid that wears down on the enamel of the teeth for about 20 minutes after each sip. This effect is reactivated with every single sip, and it obviously does more damage the more the drink is consumed. From what we've been able to document regarding his diet, his teeth probably feel naked. His addiction to the sauce heavily impacts his dental health as well. Cobbs loves himself a nice beer, but he especially loves to make sick drink combos like Bud Light and Mountain Dew. Excessive consumption of alcohol can actually dehydrate you. This means that there will be a decrease in the production of saliva, which is needed to at least get some of the nasty stuff out of your mouth, like food and drink particles, sugars, and of course bacteria. Those filthy fragments can get stuck to teeth and put a person at greater risk for tooth decay. His teeth are not in great shape. For example, when he eats sweets, he tends to experience sharp pains in his stained yellows and jaw. Tell me, does it look like he's in any discomfort here? Totally not, right?
Ooh. I definitely gotta brush my teeth more because sometimes eating sweets, my teeth don't hurt surprisingly, but that's regardless.
His teeth are probably ready to wave the white flag under the stress of so much sugar just swirling around them thanks to his thick Boglum spit. But if his claims that his tooth pain have tapered off are true, then they must have rotted away to the point of killing those nerves. If left unchecked, our Dark Lord might just succumb to something as bad as periodontitis. It may initially seem unrelated, but our boy does have a pretty awful sleeping schedule. In his youth, he claimed that he was always up late, hanging out with his homeboys and homegirls, pounding cooch and shooting hooch. As a grown-up, mature adult male, his nightly antics have devolved into drunkenly rambling in front of a webcam into the late hours of the night. Instead of spending his evenings working on his dope magic wands, he spends them drooling on himself while stumbling over his own hat.
Fuck out of my way, you stupid fucking hat! Stupid fucking piece of shit. Fucking hat. Fuck you!
Turns out sleep deprivation is a major contributor to poor dental hygiene. Teeth can loosen or be damaged due to extensive grinding, which is a symptom of sleep deprivation. The gum lines can also begin to bleed, which also can lead to tooth decay. The less late nights he spends getting kicked out of bars and lamenting the ladies, the better. Despite how far gone his teeth are, he has been seen attempting to brush them at least a few times, but unfortunately this is always a very rare occurrence. He brushed his corroded fangs on video at the request of Sandra, one of his many of-age sexy gothic fangirls. In the video he struggles with pain during the brushing process, and demonstrates his poor understanding of the mechanics of efficiently scrubbing one's teeth. He also seems to be using next to no toothpaste, which is, kind of an important part of the task. He needs to put some fluoride on those puppies.
What's up, YouTube? I want to give a shout out to Sandra Smith, who wanted to see me brush and floss my teeth and use mouthwash. I just got a fucking brand new bottle of that stuff right there. This here is Crest Pro Health Advanced Anti-Cavity Fluoride Rinse Extra Whitening. I do have a couple of cavities. Gross. Okay, so I'm going to brush my teeth. Now what I have is this amazing toothbrush right here. It's rechargeable. It has the floss feature. I'll turn the flosser all the way up. Watch when I hit the button. See that? It spits water. That's how I floss my teeth. That's a lot easier than trying to do it with string and shit. But anyways, I'm also going to be brushing my teeth with some of this right here. This is Crest 3D White. Okay. That stings a little bit. I definitely need to brush my teeth more. I'm redoing the video because I messed up on it. Alright, YouTube. There's the mouthwash.
It's also not important, but I gotta admit, I chuckled when I noticed he takes his mouthwash like a shot. That's pretty telling, I'd say. But even though Josh is seemingly incapable of keeping his mouth hygienic, his father has made a valiant effort to help his son in this department. On the 14th of January 2020, Cobes was dragged to the oral doctor by Clint. He would then have to return to the dentist the following day. The first day was centered around cleaning his teeth. However, on the second day, he had to, quote, get a fucking tooth pulled or some shit.
My trip to the dentist earlier was not too excruciating, but tomorrow I gotta get a fucking tooth pulled or some shit. I don't fucking know. I gotta go back to the damn dentist again tomorrow. But before they examine your teeth further, they require a cleaning. Just makes it easier for them to do their job, I guess, so I get that. But tobacco is bad for your teeth, but weed isn't. No. Okay. I'm going to be getting up early tomorrow so I can get me some beer and stock up my fridge, because after dealing with the dentist tomorrow, I'm going to want a fucking beer. Which, if they're pulling teeth, fuck off, dude. I hate that shit.
He claims in this video that while smoking and chewing tobacco is bad for your health, smoking marijuana isn't. He is very wrong. There are many irritants in weed, obviously including THC, that can do some significant damage to your gums. This can lead to various infections, swelling, discoloration lesions on the gums, and of course, gingivitis in particular cases. He also states that he hates getting teeth pulled and proposes a method for avoiding having dentists remove them from your mouth. This is also supposed to be an effective method for getting rid of wisdom teeth. You should brush all of your teeth except for the wisdom set, let them rot out naturally and nature will take care of the rest. However, this totally negates the fact that wisdom teeth are usually removed due to space constraints in the back of the mouth. Letting them come in could do some pretty serious damage to the configuration of somebody's teeth, and obviously letting your tusks rot out isn't exactly a good idea either.
So instead of yanking their wisdom teeth out, what you do is you brush all your teeth except your wisdom teeth. You let your wisdom teeth rot out naturally, and then you won't have to go through the bullshit of getting them yanked out. I swear to God, dude, if I'm getting one of my wisdom teeth yanked, I'm not having it. It's gonna suck, but it's gonna need to be done. I'm like, can't you just look? Okay, whatever. Like, y'all got some of that funny gas? Because I don't want to feel shit.
But don't worry, guys. He doesn't let his decrepit kisser hold him back. Apparently, blackened teeth aren't anything to be embarrassed by. I mean, shit, look at him. He sure isn't. Before we move on, I think it's worth mentioning that the food he consumes is also a major factor into why his mouth smells so foul. He often makes abominations that are definitely not healthy or tasty. Fast food also makes up a significant chunk of his diet. Food that is rich with sugars and starches and carbohydrates can add to high levels of plaque acids, the very same shit that is currently tearing apart his teeth. But I think that's enough on his teeth though. I mean, there's plenty of other points we're gonna have to get through. It should be obvious, but he also has a terrible bathing schedule. This is clearly seen when you catch him on stream. You can see the grease in his hair glistening in the dingy essence of his living room light. He also has a proclivity for wearing the same clothing for several days at a time. Despite his inconsistent track record for bathing, his favorite is Bond Tactical Soap, a quote, natural pheromone soap that enhances alpha status, masculinity, attractiveness, and charisma. You can probably guess whether or not it actually works. It doesn't. He swears by this brand, claiming that he always smells good and women just can't resist his advances because of the alleged pheromones in the aforementioned brick of soap. Given how potent the soap is supposed to be, he's probably abusing its power by putting it on his clothes. That's right. He rubs soap on his coats and in the pits of his shirts, applying it as if it's some sort of deodorant. He completely disregards that the soap's primary purpose is to clean the grime off of his body, not contribute to it. Smearing dry soap on fabric isn't going to do much more than leave a scent and maybe some residue. This also likely wears down the soap faster than if he just used it like a normal person. Despite his claims that the soap helps him get chicks, we can clearly see that it doesn't. Hell, we can tell when he hasn't and hasn't bathed, so the of-age girls in Casper certainly can as well. But at least he doesn't ingest the stuff. That'd be bad.
I wouldn't eat the soap. You wash your body with it.
His love for tactical soap has been seen across many videos and streams. His affinity for it has even landed him an official affiliate code for the Grondike brand, netting all users of the code a discount on their order of solidified snake oil. This is quite the interesting development for somebody that needs to make his showers a cause of celebration. He'll always be sure to let the dudes and sexy fangirls in his audience know that he just scrubbed some of that pheromone soap in his Cobra crack. There's a lot of confusion on whether or not you should bathe every day or maybe every other day, maybe a few times a week, but in Josh's case, a shower every other week is just good enough. Infrequent showers can cause buildups of all kinds of nasty junk like dead skin cells or sweat or dirt. These things can trigger acne or make certain conditions worse like psoriasis or eczema. It's not a fun time to say the least. Dead skin buildups can cause skin irritation, leaving the dirty individual at hand feeling itchy and ashy. Skin can even darken or discolor due to grime. These are all things that we can actively see on Josh. The human body is covered in bacteria at all times, both good and bad. When you don't clean yourself on the regular, you leave a lot of bad stuff on your skin. That bacteria can pair with the excess dead skin and dirt, introducing infections like fungal growths into the skin. A majority of illnesses are transferred through touching dirty things, like doorknobs or toilets or restaurant menus. Cobes has been seen acting very unhygienic in public before, particularly in bars and gas station parking lots, so he's constantly exposed to high volumes of bad bacteria, not to mention when he's sharing a pipe with one of his homeboys. Josh never even bothers to wash his hands properly. He leaves his rings on his fingers at all times, and this has caused them to get darker due to dirt and corrosion. So God only knows how much bacteria has latched onto those metal bands. Oh man, he touches his fucked up food with those things on. Maybe they hold on to flavor, but I'd rather not find out. The amount of bacteria that has made itself home on Josh has likely affected his immune system, making it much harder for him to fight everyday bacteria like clean people are able to do. This is likely a contributor to his unkempt, ill-looking appearance, and let's not forget that he's always got a runny nose, so that could be a symptom of his horrid hygiene. So it probably goes without saying, but if he did really scrub behind his ears, he might be able to bring something home that's better than a shriveled up Casper lot lizard. Would you be shocked if I told you that his living conditions also play a major factor in his health? Of course not. I mean, that's a really stupid question to ask, but not quite as stupid as his lack of care for his surroundings. There isn't a surface in his place that isn't covered with a thick layer of dust, and there definitely isn't an inch of carpet that hasn't been ruined by booze, vile food hacks, and some boglum vomit. You gotta feel sorry for his neighbors because there has to be a foul stench that just carries into their apartments. His carpet is thoroughly stained and shows signs of significant damage. He never bothers to clean the floors and often wears his shoes indoors, shuffling along as he struggles to move thanks to his blood being replaced with pure alcohol. I'm sure his carpet has some tears or lifted seams thanks to him dragging his shit kickers. There is very little evidence to support his claims that he actually does take care of his apartment. He has only been seen vacuuming a handful of times, which may not sound too unusual because who actually records themselves vacuuming their place? You shouldn't have to see somebody clean, you should just see the results. But in one instance he did happen to move his vacuum when the camera was rolling, which revealed the carpet beneath it was more or less spotless when compared to the rest of the floor. This just goes to show how far gone he lets his habitats get. Both of the apartments he's had were, and still are regarding the latter, complete catastrophes. His old apartment was shown properly in a house tour video, allowing onlookers to feast their eyes upon the den of the mighty bog. During his stay in his apartments, it can be easily observed that they always just gradually seem to get worse. The walls appear to yellow over time due to the copious amounts of tobacco that Cope smokes indoors. Because surprise surprise, not only is smoking bad for your health, it's bad for your environment. He was seen smoking in his newest apartment as soon as he had internet access, so it's safe to assume that he did it prior as well. He obviously has no respect for his surroundings. This should obviously go without saying, but filthy living conditions can be a major detriment to somebody's health. There's always a chance for illness, rashes, allergic reactions, and in extreme cases, respiratory problems. The presence of open food containers can lead to infestations of insects or rodents, which can carry with them a plethora of illnesses. Hell, judging by the quality of his carpet, he could very well have an army of dust mites that keep triggering his sickly appearance from an allergic reaction. Exposure to large amounts of dust, and obviously being exposed to mold, can lead to nasty outcomes like vomiting or diarrhea. He's been known to spill drinks on his floor, alongside vomiting next to his chair. I have no doubts that he at least attempts to clean the sloppy tummy juice that he spewed by his feet, but I can't imagine he tries to clean up his drinks when he has an oopsie and tips over his Party City chalice. Leaving sugary drinks in his carpet would most definitely lead to mold. I'd wager that fungal spores are really one of those things you wouldn't want to have in your lungs. It's also said that a messy environment can take a toll on mental health, leading to feelings of fear or frustration. I'm certainly no psychologist, but I can certainly see why that would happen. People aren't meant to neglect themselves to the extent that he does on the regular. Speaking of breathing things in his first apartment, Josh spray painted his handmade wands indoors, which definitely got into the carpet and furniture alongside the ventilation system. His unhygienic habits likely affected his neighbors as well. Imagine what it must have been like for them. They're minding their own business, doing their own thing in their own place, and the loud drunk neighbors cooking up some disgusting mess of a dish and spray painting his wands while smoking a tobacco pipe. Those are probably not the scents you'd want to smell or the sounds you'd want to hear when winding down in the evening. There's a lot to worry about when you think of all the different ways his lack of hygiene is actively harming him, but the unfortunate thing is that he wants to live this way. Regardless of the fact that he has a mental impairment, he makes the cognitive decisions to do things the wrong way. His parents, particularly his father, taught him how to function privately and publicly. However, Josh decides to ignore the years of experience his father passed on so he can live his own way, which wouldn't be so bad if he didn't live like, well, this. All of the things mentioned are certainly taking a toll on his health, and one day the laughs are going to come to a stop, at least for a little bit. Eventually everything will catch up to him. He has time to make the necessary changes to improve the ways he looks after himself, but at this point I fear it'd be too little, too late. But unfortunately, I believe that's going to be the end for today's video. If you like what I do, leave a comment, rate, and subscribe. If you want to support me in a more personal way, you can check out the Patreon link and the Teespring link in the description. I've got more content coming down the pipeline. But until then, I'll see you degenerates next time.